stops, no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Melissa is here. We're going to check for an echo. Melissa, do you want to talk and chatters can let us know if there's an echo before we get started?
Yeah, we don't need a repeat of last night where it was fine and then all of a sudden, echo.
So how's that, you guys? Are you hearing an echo when Melissa talks? You watch for the answers. I'm just going to go. Nobody is answering.
Lynn
So
says,
let's
oh,
see.
that's great. So I don't know. Do we have an echo, guys? We need a sound check. Sailor says, sounds great. Sounds good. All right.
Perfect. So countryside. That smells really good. I just lit a candle. Um, Countryside, good to see you. And Tams, hi. Hi, Colleen. I'm doing good today. Hope you're doing well. Sarah, Maud, spectacular. She's got some really good posts, some really great tips. Hey, Lynn, good to see ya. And Amy, hi. Prior commitment. Okay, thanks for stopping in before you have to go. Um, Carol, as always, great to see you. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Go over and sub to Melissa. We're trying to get her to 500. She's getting closer every day. And here we go with another one. Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll free 1-800-222-TIPS. That's actually everywhere. And then here's the Major Crime Unit, 902-896-5060. And then the anonymous tip line. And also you can go on and download the P3 Tips app. Awesome. Thank you. And there's the P3 Tips website right here. Betty Knight, thanks for coming. Lines at the top, make sure you're on live chat, not top chat. See? Sarah's with the tips. She's the mod extraordinaire. Hey, Cheryl, thanks for being here. CJ, good to see ya. Sailor Moon is here. Thanks for coming, Sailor. Hey, Rena. And Nana. Hi, Nancy. What's this? Tina, Katrina. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Jackie. And who else? Anybody? Oh, Raidu. Is that right? You're new. Thanks for finding us. I think, well, maybe you're Melissa's. We can't tell who's on which channel here, so
Yeah, you can.
can you? I can't.
Yeah. Where it has their picture, if it has like a little symbol, like at the top of their picture, that means it's on my chat. Whereas if you don't see that symbol, they're on yours. Um,
Oh, interesting. I did not know that. American Justice. I asked Daphne's if you knew if there was a fishing boat used by Daniel. That's for you, Melissa.
I haven't heard that. I don't know about anybody else. But I mean, he's a fisherman, so it wouldn't surprise me if he has access to a boat.
Yeah, you'd think he probably would, but never know. Don't know. I've never heard anything about it. Hey, Addie. Or does anyone know about a fishing boat? No, not a clue. Hmm, pizza. Yum. Thank you for always being here, Addie. It's kind of useless to do what we do if there was nobody watching or chatting. So you guys are all appreciated. Hey, Ron, thanks for coming. Bobby, good to see you. Trudeau's, hi. Hey, Ange. I don't think I've seen you before either. I'm happy that you've found us. Hey, Teresa.
Okay, so if you look, Charmaine, on Teresa's in our chat, that little symbol that's above the YouTube, that means
Yep.
she's in my chat.
Okay, gotcha. I see it now. Tracy Cook, thanks for coming. And Kush, hi. If you both are here, I thought it shows we're at both. Yeah, I don't know. And just Ducky, good to see you. Hey, I think I've already said, hey, Cheryl. Has anyone ever gone into detail on the type of RPA or drones used, the model, so we can check the specs? That's for you, Melissa.
I haven't heard anything on the actual like model and all of that. They in the court documents it doesn't tell us that. It just tells us that they were used. It doesn't go into, you know, the name and the model and all of that.
Mm. Be interesting to find out.
It would.
Hey, Kim. Ariel, good to see ya. Hey, I already said hi to you. You don't get to. I'm just kidding. Hey, Trail. Thanks for coming. I've been following from the start. I just don't comment often. A lurker. I love the lurkers. I do. But you're always welcome in chat. Thank you for being here. Okay. So I stumbled across some huge news for Canada today. Not sure if y'all have heard, but we've been bitching for a very long time about not having a sex offender registry available to the public in Canada. It was, it was a problem to me. We just, it was always shocking to find out cases like Holly Jones, how many registered sex offenders there were living in her immediate neighborhood, right? And we still don't know the actual number. The media did, but the RCMP, they have access to all that information, but the public never did until today. This bad boy went live today. Hey, Cool and Snarky Pants, good to see you. Um, let's just put this up. Wow, wow. This is a small step for, I guess, Canada, but a huge step for me with the RCMP. And I think it's going to help us keep our kids safe. I do. It is definitely about time. So I did not venture into this list. Hey, Catter, good to see you. I thought we could do that together. This is very great news. So I'm going to paste the link and I will put I'm pretty sure I can copy a link into the community page as well. But you guys can go here and access this. So you can see, well, January 15th, 2026. So I guess it went live last night, I want to say. And Melissa knows, like, the states have had their sex offender registry for years. They could access it. And it's not that we didn't have a database. It was that the public didn't have access to it. And I think to me, I think the reason was because if you're a sex offender, there was no You can be a registered sex offender if you're caught, like as a man or something, like taking a leak in a park or something. You're basically exposing yourself. Something like that could land you on the sex offender registry. But this looks to me like the National High Risk Child Sex Offender Database. So that there's the differentiation to me. That's just my opinion.
I think it's a huge step
Okay.
forward for Canada because, like you said, we've had it for a long time. And it's not uncommon if you're going to move that you check the registry for the area that you want to move to.
Mm-hmm.
It- And, you know, when my kids were little, I checked it often to see who moved in next door to make sure my children were safe.
That's right. And to me, it's the public's, it's the right to know, right? So, um, so I'm gonna read it. If you want to hear me reading it, just mute. But we will get to the list in a couple of minutes. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched the High Risk Child Sex Offender Database, a national publicly accessible tool. This is the first of its kind in Canada. The database contains centralized information about people who have been found guilty of a sexual offense against children and who pose a high risk of committing crimes of a sexual nature. First question, like, what are they doing on the street? Bigger fish to fry, but still, excellent. The database contains information that has previously been made public by a police service or public authority. Only the offenders deemed as high risk of committing a crime of a sexual nature are included in the database. The RCMP relies on provincial, territorial, and municipal authorities to recommend the inclusion of individuals in the database as they have robust established robust practices. What? Established and robust practices for determining high risk offenders in their respective jurisdictions. Administered by the RCMP, the database is another tool that law enforcement can use to help investigate and prevent crimes against children of a sexual nature, and it also helps the public get informed and make decisions when it comes to protecting children and vulnerable individuals. Hallelujah. Wow. We got some quotes there. I'm not sure we really, I mean, go read it because I'm not saying it doesn't matter what these people have to say about it, but go read it. I'm going to assume everybody is happy about this. I don't know that there's a huge need to keep my eye on chat. Everybody's saying it's a Drippy. I haven't seen you forever. Good to see you. And Sarah and everybody else. Wolfie, hey. You need a Transport Canada license to operate a pleasure fishing vessel. So he would have to find a vessel and someone to let him. I mean, you don't need that to maybe fishing in the ocean, but like I don't know a thing about Nova Scotia, but I know Alberta and BC, you need a boat license if you've got a motorized boat. But anybody can jump into a canoe and go fishing. I don't know. Deafening silence. Good to see you. Hey, Sharon Parker. Rad. Good to see you. Squid. Squid's here. Hey, Squid. Yvette. I don't want to get stuck doing this because I want to say hi to everybody. Hey, Sammy and Robin. High risk. Why do you set them free? Right? That's. But this is still a massive, massive accomplishment for Canada. And, an effort to help us keep our children safe. Hey, Belinda, good to see you. Mary, hi. Doing it again. Hey, Tom. I feel like I'm doing it again. Hey, Carrie. I'm just getting caught up in chat, and I don't want to do that too hardcore. But I still like saying hi to everybody. Look at Trev. That's funny. Hey, Darlene. Kelly's here. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm sure. I can't say for sure because I don't live there. I've never been there, but even in BC, yes, we have the Pacific Ocean, but there are lakes everywhere that are filled with fish, and people enjoy fishing from like lake fishing, So 10 minutes maybe. All right. Yes, it's for public to look up. So let's look. This isn't like I have no special permissions or anything. I am a member of the public, and I put the link and I'll put it again, but you can go on to this little website. It's got the associated links down here, and let's just see. I've never clicked it. I'm super excited. Misusing information. Any persons found misusing the information in this database to injure, harass, or commit other offenses against anyone listed in the database may be subject to criminal prosecution. The High Risk Child Sex Offender Database is a publicly accessible database that includes profiles of individuals convicted of sexual offenses against children and who pose a high risk of committing crimes of a sexual nature. Okay, here we go. And I highly suggest everybody go and, go through the site, read all the safety and educational resources. But we're going to dive right into the list. This is huge, you guys. Yeah, there is, Ron. Look, Manitoba. These are in Manitoba. And we'll just pick one random one to have a look and see what kind of warnings there are. Is that it? Let me. Oh, you guys, it might not be. Hmm. Note, the database is expected to continue to expand progressively as provincial and territorial authorities continue to submit additional offender profiles that meet the criteria. So right now it looks like Manitoba and Prince Edward Island had one. So let's look at like one from each. And honestly, let's pick one that we wouldn't. I'm not saying that these people all look like terrible people, but um, would you think anything of this dude here if you saw him on your street? Appearance may have changed since photo was taken. He's male. Sexual assault, 3 counts. Invitation to touching. Living on the avails of prostitution. Makes, prints, publishes, or possession for the purposes of publication of child possession of property obtained by crime over 5,000, assaulting a peace officer, breach recognizance, obstruct justice. Wow. Place of red. Okay, so he lives in Manitoba. Okay, okay. I see how they're gonna build this list. Let's have a look at the one in PEI. There are not many names here, guys. Age at the time of original public notification, 27. He's got a description. Offenses, sexual assaults, additional convictions for indecent acts involving children and women, other violence-related convictions which span over several years.
Something I noticed that's a little bit different with your guys' list, and keep in mind, guys, they're just now starting this list. It's going to grow quickly. But in America, they give us the picture like they do here. They give us their aliases. They give us their actual physical address, like it will list the actual address. Um, and the way that they list, like the offenses, you can click on it and you can end up seeing, you know, their court stuff. And some of them, not all of them. So there's a few differences between this and the way we do it, but I think this is a huge step forward for Canada to start this and get it going.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly dependent on the information provided to them by their provinces and territories. And Ron, I noticed what you said there, and I did go to a couple of different provinces, and there wasn't anybody. So I'm thinking this is like brand new. Because this one has got like an absolute ton of information about this guy, distinctive features, description of his offenses. I mean, that's terrible. But then they've also got his conditions on here as well. He has a curfew. Um,
Can you scroll back up real quick? Um, keep going. It's right kind of under his picture there at the top. Right there. It says tattoos and it gives you a list of distinctive features for people too. And I mean, these provinces are going to have to go through their files and figure out who qualifies and who doesn't. So it may take some time for each of the provinces to get their people in that province on here.
like to me, I mean, this is still a massive, massive step in helping us protect our kids.
I
So
fully agree.
ku- kudos to, the Department of Justice and to the RCMP, and hopefully all the provinces and territories will jump on board and get the information so it can be uploaded here. Because I've said for years, it's our right to know. Um, who obviously it's never going to be all encompassing. Monsters are everywhere, but we need to start somewhere, right? So I think this is fantastic. I'll do it one more time in the chat. Here's the link. And again, the link will take you to um, the high risk child sex offender database, basically a news release on the RCMP website. Then you go to the bottom to get to the database. Over here on the side, you can pick your genders, and then here we have all of the provinces. You click on any, and then Manitoba comes up in PEI, but if you go, there's none, there's none uploaded from Alberta, none from BC, and I tried Nova Scotia. I think that if they're not on that main page, this is just new, right? So it's excellent. I'm I'm stoked.
I don't blame you. It's a big step forward for Canada. I would be extremely excited and, you know, it's a huge step towards protecting children and vulnerable people.
That's right. And it's our right to know. So fantastic news for Canada. I'm super excited about that. And what else did we have today? We are going to talk about possibilities. What are we dealing with here? And I think we've talked about most things, but we never actually looked in. So we're gonna bring up all the different possible scenarios, and we'll look for whatever. That's right. It's only for people that are actually convicted and meet the criteria to land on the list. Crimes against children, right? So, anyways, moving on. I was sent this, and thank you to I mean, thank you to everybody that sends me emails and information and tips and not tips, but like information on cases to look into and stuff. I really appreciate it. And some people are so supportive and kind. Mark Marky, no, there's not. Melissa,
Yes.
is there an echo again, you guys?
I don't hear it.
Okay. Okay. Yesterday, Marky, it was terrible. So that was paranoia 101 for me. Anyways, okay. So this was sent to me yesterday. I think I saw the news clip, but I didn't read the article. So I found it interesting. I thought we would listen to it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because every time I do this, the audio doesn't work. So I'm going to reshare it with the audio just to prevent any mishaps. And then we'll go through the article, but we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to get into the scenarios, and we're going to decide as a community where we want to go, because I think we all know where we don't want to go. Okay. So, here we go.
Newly released court documents suggest potential problems in the relationship of the couple caring for the missing Sullivan children. In newly unsealed court documents, the mother of the two children alleges her common law partner was sometimes physically abusive during their 3-year relationship. The excerpts from police interviews with unproven allegations from Malehya Brooks Murray suggest stepfather Daniel Martell would try to block her, hold her down, and pushed her once. None of the allegations have been tested in court, and Martell is not facing any charges. He also denied the allegations to reporters, saying it is part of an ongoing narrative to make him, quote, look evil. 5-year-old Jack and his 6-year-old Lily Sullivan were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Multiple exhaustive searches have turned up no sign of either. A man was arrested yesterday after allegedly making threats that led to a
So, and I know that sometime in the past couple of weeks, I got word that Daniel did an interview. Now, is this the interview that they're referring to, and why haven't we seen it yet? Don't ask me. I have no idea. I did not get that far with the information that just came at me unsolicited. So, which I mean, I'm fine with. Don't get me wrong. I do appreciate all information that comes to me. But it says the mother of two Nova Scotia children who were reporting missing more than 8 months ago alleges in unsealed court documents that her common law partner was sometimes physically abusive towards their 3-year relationship, during their 3-year relationship. The documents include excerpts from police interviews and unproven allegations from Malehya Brooks Murray, who on May 2nd called 911 to report that 5-year-old Jack Sullivan and his 6-year-old sister, Lily Sullivan, had wandered away from their rural home north of Halifax. The police documents filed to support applications for search warrants reveal that on May 9th, Brooks Murray was specifically asked if the children's stepfather, Daniel Martell, was physically abusive. Malehya said he would try to block her, hold her down, and once he pushed her, the documents say. She said he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. None of the allegations have been tested in court, and Martell is not facing any charges. When reached by phone Thursday, Martell denied the allegations, saying that they were part of a narrative designed to make him look evil. Quote, I never abused Malehya, he said, but the narrative was set that Daniel is an evil person. You can see all the allegations online. It's absolutely insane. Asked about the allegation that he hurt his partner when he tried to take her phone, Martell said, "Allegations to make me seem evil. It didn't happen." Didn't he? Let's move on and we'll talk about it. They had been together for about 3 years, and it moved pretty quickly, according to the document related to the May 6th interview, adding that the two had met on Facebook. He moved into Malehya's grandmother's house with her after about 2 weeks. He said their relationship is good. They have ups and downs like any couple. The documents also say that on May 2nd and May 4th, Martell told police the couple had recently been fighting about money, but no other details were provided. The couple separated soon after the search for the children started. Martell has maintained a very public presence since the missing persons case was opened. "I'm completely honest and open about absolutely everything," he said Thursday. I've been the figurehead for the Lily and Jack investigation. I've been at the forefront displaying everything I could and telling everything I could to the public to keep them up to date on everything that's been going on." Still, Martell said loose talk on social media has left his reputation in tatters. "That's what this has always been about, making Daniel seem evil," he said, speaking about himself in the third person. "He has nothing to do with the disappearance, but in the public, as long as he looks evil, the public will judge him as being guilty." As for the police investigation, Martell said he recently signed a consent form and submitted a blood sample to the RCMP for genetic analysis. "I watched investigators check the box for myself, indicating no criminal involvement," he said, "so I have no criminal involvement, and that was my very first time seeing that in writing." Interesting. Any thoughts so far, Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. And there's the echo.
What? No. All right, I'm going to continue. Search warrants and applications needed to obtain them are supposed to be made public after they have been executed, with some exceptions. But in this case, the RCMP have argued that certain information must remain private as the police investigation continues. Despite several extensive ground and air searches, including a search in October using cadaver dogs, few clues have been detected to indicate what happened to Lily and Jack after they left their home on Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. In July, the Mounties said they were conducting forensic tests on a pink blanket found during the search of a heavily wooded area near the family's home. At the time, the police said family members had confirmed the blanket belonged to Lily. In August, the Mounties released search warrant documents indicating that family members had found the blanket in a tree on Lansdowne Station Road on May 2nd, about a kilometer from the family home. Police later dispatched a tracking dog to the area, but the animal was unable to pick up a scent, the documents say. But on May 4th, police found another piece of the blanket inside a trash bag at the end of the driveway of the children's home. During the interview Thursday, Martell said the blood sample he submitted would be used to test something on a blanket, but he did not provide details. Meanwhile, the RCMP said investigators continue to assess hundreds of tips from the public and more than 8,000 video files, including footage recorded by a motion-activated trail camera and dash cam footage. Really? Motion-activated trail cam? That's interesting.
Most trail cams have motion.
Here's the echo. Grapes. Would you go out and try to come back in?
Is it still echoing? Okay, so it's not echoing if you're muted and the audio on the what you have up is muted, because it's not echoing now.
Okay. Um, some are, some are. Okay, so let's hit the chat. I think we got it taken care of. There is an informant now. That is exciting news to me. Did I read that there was an informant?
Not that I heard.
I don't know. Uh, where's the concern for the children? We're still waiting for info from all three. Yeah. Okay, it's okay now.
So to answer Michelle, I'm actually on my computer, but the thing that she has up on screen has audio to it, and that's what's causing the echo. Once I muted that, the echo is gone. So hopefully we have that figured out.
Well, I'll do that instead. I'll see if I can find a picture of Jack and Lily to put up instead of our mugs. Um, anyways, okay, so let's start with possibilities. So what are we looking at here? I
I've got
think
10.
what?
I've got 10 different possibilities.
You got 10. Let's hear them.
So one wandered off. 2, Daniel is responsible for some nefarious reasons. Malehya is responsible for some nefarious reasons. Both Daniel and Malehya are responsible. Malehya arranged for them to be hidden. Janie is responsible with help, abduction, trafficking, accident, whether that be rugs or something else, and 10 unknown.
Okay, so where would you like to? Wait a second. Is Durwood the informant? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say no. Gobble gobble will run with no suspects and not criminally responsible for Daniel. For all of them. For anybody. I mean, I heard that and I called it, but I heard it last night. You know, it's just, I guess, different perspective, reading the same information and taking something completely different from it. Yes, we know. Don't know what that means. I do, but I don't know how it relates. This will be another one coming out of the woodwork. You guys, we don't. Another creator just read informant. Oh, informant. What would an informant look like in the Jack and Lily investigation, considering all of the tips that they're getting from all members of the public? So an informant in this case would have to have inside information, valuable inside information. And I don't know how an informant would be. I mean, anybody that's put in a tip in this case could be considered an informant, right? Like, there's no, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what I'm thinking, but I don't know that that's 100% accurate. And I have no idea who said it. Maybe they have information that we don't, but an informant is usually somebody that's giving law enforcement information to, um, you know, prove what they already suspect, um, or give them information to go on. And that, to me, is what you all do when you call in your tips. So what exactly is an informant to this creator? That's my question. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I would need to know what their definition of a informant is. Shenanigans is in the house. Hey, Shan. Daniel is making the rounds with all the news stations. So usually when something is going on, because Malehya's family does not talk, Daniel is the one that gets contacted by all of the news outlets. And can't remember when I was told. I was told the other day that Daniel had done a new interview last week. So, um, that's a term used for the person writing in the documents. Informant? What? There's no informant? Like I said, anybody that gives in tips in this case, because there's no, if there's no evidence of criminal activity, so.
I don't know if maybe our definition of an informant is different than in Canada, but usually, not always, but usually in the US, it's somebody who is being paid by the police department, and they're called a confidential informant, and they're on a payroll, or it's somebody like you said that has inside information. And in this case, there could only be 3 people that have inside information. The 3 that were on the property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless just for an example, um, if Daniel's ex-girlfriend Taylor had inside information, something, like pillow talk, Daniel confessed to her or something like that. Like that would be an informant giving inside information. But other than that, I struggle to see. And if it was Daphne, she read it somewhere. Okay, interesting. No, she didn't. You would know. It depends on the creator. Absolutely. That's why I asked. Hey, Carla, good to see you. Who is Sandwich? Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick. Mental abuse is abuse. Yes. In my opinion, mental abuse is worse. Some push you, hit you once, bruise will heal quickly. Mental abuse is often constant and prolonged and has lifelong effects. Number 2 and number 3 are not possible. What was number 2 and number 3? Are we fighting with Ron today or are we going to get along?
I think we might be fighting with Ron because number 2 and number 3 was Daniel or Malehya might have had something to do with it nefarious.
Key word in there, might. Are we going to have closed minds, Ron, or are we going to talk about all possibilities? Just a question. Still waiting to see how the hard copy of Darren's interviews, though I have typed the words in the meantime as shown on another not so visible YouTube channel about a month or 2 ago. Really? Interesting. Durwood is definitely not the informant. If he is, we're all in a load of trouble. No offense. Is this new info? Yeah, yeah. New as in, the article came out yesterday. We didn't read it because we were busy on that index, which, FYI, by the way, we still don't have the actual docs, but we should have them. Daphne stated it was the liaison officer. Well, that would be unethical of that liaison officer. So, maybe though. Never know. It can't be just Daniel or Malehya. If one is involved, then they both are.
That was an option.
Possibly. And then are you going to also throw in Janie having knowledge with that? Because all 3 were on the property. So some people say that if one did it, they all know. and I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Thanks for being here, Jam. Still waiting for Tyler Robinson recess to end. Oh, yes, yes, Charlie Kirk. Right. Mental abuse is psychological, and it is terrible if anyone has suffered with it. Can happen with family too, even friends, not just a partner. Absolutely. You can be mentally abused by your employer. I am mentally abused by my dog. He's a bully, but I love him. I'm not making light, but you can be mentally abused by anyone. I think if
Harley is
that's
completely innocent, Shar. He does not torment you or anything else. He never begs for treats, and he's absolutely innocent. I am Harley's lawyer.
okay, fair enough. I mean, I was going to take accountability because I created the attitude. It's my fault. Like I did this to him. He'll go outside this door and there's two trees out there and he will systematically wrap himself around both trees. I don't understand it. He's smart, but he does it. Exactly. Anyone who gives information is an informant, right? So every single person that's tipped in is an informant. So if it's a liaison officer, that's a little bit different. Totally inside information. However, that would be unethical. Unless it's a Mr. Big operation and the informant is indeed part of that operation, unknown to the people they are informing on, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but the ocean is one possibility. That has been batted around my brain like a ping pong for months, and I don't know when, unless they were moved there afterwards, I don't think that there would have been time. But I mean, not he, but anybody that lives there would know the tides, and I don't have enough information. I think they are saying things to the news media to put the heat and the pressure on the people, the persons of interest. Yesterday, I read an article where he said, plain as day, they can't talk about any suspects or even persons of interest at this point. So maybe they don't want to say, or maybe they don't even have anything to, uh, you know, point them towards any one person specifically. Did I say that word right? Specifically. Yes, I did. No, I didn't specifically. There's also paid informants. Yeah, but you'd have to give me a good example of who would be a paid informant in this case. Not all information to the RCMP would. It's referring to the person speaking in the document. I believe you said that before, and I still don't. Are you talking about the informant? Is that what she was talking? Is that what Daphne was talking about? If they got someone busted for drugs and they were close to someone in the case, I could see that happen. Just a possible theory. Yeah. Usually informants, they have something on, right?
I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of. I mean, hey, I know who hurt Lily and Jack. You want to drop these drug charges and I'll tell you what I know. I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of, at least in the States. I don't know about Canada.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure. Wouldn't that be along the lines of making a deal? Not these people, but whoever's up on drug charges would be making a deal in exchange for information. But my point is, who would have that information? I don't know what you're talking about, Jam. Like I kind of do, but I don't. I get it though. Where they read that. Informant where? Yeah. They use criminals to, they absolutely do. Yeah. In Willie Picton's case, the pig farmer, they had somebody who not only was an informant, but was a victim of an attack by Willie. And because of her colorful history, th- they didn't they didn't even pursue charges for what happened to her, let alone take any of her information because she wasn't deemed as credible. They didn't think that her testimony would be believed because of her past. So I don't know if law enforcement in the United States will actually not prosecute somebody for a crime based on what the victim might do for money or whatever. But I mean, that absolutely happened here. Documented. Happened here.
Not really. I mean, you could have somebody who's got charges and a long past, and they're still going to be, if they're testifying against somebody, the county or the state will still bring charges, but it's harder to get past somebody who has a past, but it won't stop charges from coming.
I could be sarcastic, but I'll just play it nice. Of course I do. Thank you. So because Daniel checked the box for genetic analysis and indicated that he has no criminal involvement, he is innocent? Are you asking, or because I know that that's what that statement sounded like to him? Yes, that's what he believes for sure. He watched them. They wanted his DNA to basically rule him out as a donor for any DNA that was found on the blanket. They checked the box that said it's not criminal or no criminal involvement. I've never I've never been exposed to that form, so I don't know 100% what it's referring to, but if they check the box no criminal involvement, that could have been, and I'm not trying to dance around it, but it could be anything from no criminal involvement to this this test is not to determine criminal involvement. You know what I'm saying? Like we have no idea what that form meant or what that box meant, but I think it's safe to say that Daniel took that as he has no criminal involvement. Yes, Pictou, be very safe. Maybe someone that came in off drug charges, for example, and knew about Jack and Lily, for example, and spoke to get off charges. Yeah, it's totally possible. What a piece of garbage, though. If that's you out there, why didn't you say something sooner if you knew the kids are being abused? Like, what the fuck? More than a quarter are likely bored and deranged people calling in to tip wasting. Yeah, what did they say? 0.01% of the tips they get based off social media information they find useful. But they got to follow them all up, which is horrific.
And that's really sad that only 0.01% the tips that are coming in are useful, because that wastes resources and time for the RCMP.
So, and that was probably like a snapshot in time, right? I would suspect that towards the beginning of the case and the tips that came in, they had to follow them all up to decide whether or not they were useful or not. But this time, because we don't have new information, family is not out here speaking, they're not finding anything in searches. People are just kind of not regurgitating, but they're tipping in stuff that's probably already been tipped in, so it's not useful anymore. Maybe it was at some point, but now 6, 7, 8 months down the road, it's probably been followed up already. That's the way I see it. That's what I hope. Jordan Geddes as a informant. Have you met Jordan? I haven't. Justin Martell. Again, I've never met the guy. I don't know But again, if these people knew something while the kids weren't missing before they went missing, that's useful information now, why wouldn't they say something? Not every tipster is an informant. I get that. But in this case, unless, like I said, you have somebody with inside information, like a liaison officer or a social worker, maybe CPS or something, I I would wonder who would have that kind of information to be an actual informant. Like I don't know how to explain what's in my head, but I understand what you're saying. I do. Unless they had help disposing of the bodies, like Chase. Hmm. Fair. Good point. Good point. Or an undercover that's being paid, like you said. Mm-hmm. That I think that would fall under the Big Brother, Mr. Big, not Big Brother, Mr. Big sting that they do practice in Canada. Daniel has also claimed in chats that he has been cleared, but I have seen nothing official from the RCMP on him being fully cleared of as a suspect. The RCMP won't even admit that he was ever a suspect. So for anybody to surmise that Daniel, Malehya, Janie, any of them have been cleared, I'm sorry, but I think you're reading it wrong. They haven't cleared anyone. That nothing is off the table. They've said that nothing is off the table.
I agree. And nobody is cleared yet, period, because they haven't found Jack and Lily. You can't clear somebody if you don't have all the evidence, right? Like once they find Jack and Lily, they may clear one, both, all three. But you can't just clear somebody except for somebody like Cody, who had proof he wasn't there, he had no contact, he could prove where he was, he had an alibi. Like, in my opinion, Cody is clear. In my opinion, Belynda is clear. But as far as like Daniel, Malehya, Janie, I'll even throw Justin in there, they aren't cleared because they were there. And until the kids are found, they can't prove one way or another who did what or even what happened.
That's right. You can't, yeah. But I think it's a little bit easier than all that you can't say nobody can be cleared until they find the kids. That's not, I don't see that to be 100% accurate either, because if they have an alibi, if they're seen on surveillance video somewhere else and their story is corroborated and they can prove they weren't around Lansdowne during that time, then that would be pretty safe bet that they're cleared.
Well, when I say nobody's cleared, I'm talking Daniel, Malehya, and Janie.
Melissa, can you take over? My door's knocking.
Yeah. So when I say cleared, that's what I mean by that. Let me go up here and see if I can find out where she left off. So she's way back here, ain't she? Okay, so I had started this comment. Jervy said Daniel's DNA on the blanket would be meaningless because they know he had contact with it, and it was to rule out his DNA to see if there was any other. I can agree, but I also disagree with that statement. I think it depends what type of DNA is there. If it is skin cells, okay, cool. He was in the home. What's that matter? If it were biological matter, then that would be a little more concerning, right? Because this was supposedly up on a door to prevent a draft and all of that. So it would be a little more concerning if there was Daniel's biological matter, if you guys understand what I mean by that, on that blanket. So I think it depends on the type of DNA that is on it, Drippy. That's just my opinion on that. Let me go down here to these. So Malehya Brooks Murray immediately got a lawyer, and no one was even bothering her. She's most insulated for a reason, in my opinion. She's much more guilty. She started it, and Daniel Martell cleaned it up. Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's one of the options that we have, right? Is that Malehya did it, and, you know, Daniel helped, or both of them did it, or one of them did it. There's a lot of different options on what could have happened. Why sandwich? It's possible he wasn't involved, but he could know what happened. Anything is possible. Yeah. And I mean, RCMP has told us that nothing is ruled out. Everything's still on the table. So I mean, we have to go by what they say. And yes, they can lie, but I don't necessarily think they're lying right now. That sandwich, not that unusual to pass for a psychopath. They can rewrite history in their heads as second nature. They can. Same with pathological liars. You're more likely to pass a polygraph if you're a pathological liar, as opposed to somebody who generally tells the truth. Yes, him knowing his guilt, though, in my opinion, right? Like, if, let's just say, Malehya did it, and Daniel helped her clean it up, or vice versa, Daniel did it, and Malehya helped clean it up. You're still an accessory after the fact. You still knew. You still covered it up. So, in my opinion, yes, you're just as culpable. If you drive an armed person to a bank and something goes south, you're just as responsible for that as the person who went into the bank armed. Right? Like, you knew what you were driving there for. You drove them anyway. You sat outside while they did it, and you took off. You're still just as responsible and still just as culpable for what happened inside. So if Daniel or Malehya did it, they're just as culpable knowing what happened after the fact. Same with Janie, in my opinion. So Charmaine just messaged me and said it'll be a couple minutes before she gets back. So I will try to go through comments. Hi, Charmaine and Harvey. In my opinion, I believe the children are still alive and someone knows where they are. That is a possibility. It really is. That kind of goes with abduction or trafficking or even unknown on my list of possibilities. So it's entirely possible. I don't think it is. I don't think that's what is, but it is possible. Sandwich Daniel was given 3 separate polygraphs, according to him. All the same questions in one day. He passed all 3 polygraphs, according to him, because in the court documents, it only lists 1 polygraph. So he may say he took 3, but in the court documents, there is only 1 listed. Can anyone explain, did I hear that maybe future polygraph could be for the parents of Jack and Lily? So I don't know if they're going to do another one. I haven't heard. But they've already done one, right? They already were deemed to be truthful, I think is how it was worded. Ron Mexico, stealing is the least of the worries going on in Lansdowne, in my opinion. I can agree with that. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, Malehya Brooks Murray got a lawyer. Didn't everyone tell Daniel to stop talking and get a lawyer? Yeah. I mean, okay, so she lawyers up. That may be the smartest thing she's ever done. To protect herself. Too bad she didn't, in my opinion, protect her children. Daniel said, I did not. Jack, omitting Lily's name is telling. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Malehya Brooks Murray might be the informant now. Is this in the last couple of weeks? So that was a new news article, and it's been said that she's talking to the RCMP on a weekly basis, and I hope she is, and I hope she's telling everything. Would that make her an informant? Not in my book. It would make her a cooperating witness, but it wouldn't, in my book, make her an informant. Sounds right, Melissa. They don't show what they are writing unless they did on purpose. And I maybe left the room and left it so he could look at it to make him believe he is clear. I mean, they can say, hey, you're clear, all they want to him. That doesn't mean that they truly think he's cleared, because they're allowed to lie to you. So they can say, oh, we're not looking at you as a suspect. Well, right now they're saying nobody's a suspect because they don't know what happened and it's not criminal, right? So they can technically not be lying when they say they don't have any suspects. Why don't they have suspects? Because it's not deemed criminal yet. Once it gets deemed criminal, then let's talk about them saying he's not a suspect. Charmaine and AJ, don't they tick the no criminal involvement box on the sample so that it destroyed after they use it, as they have no legal right to store until convicted of an offense? Don't keep innocent DNA. Just because they click or check mark no criminal involvement, again, they're saying it's not a criminal case yet, so they're not technically lying by saying they have no suspects or there's no criminal involvement, because they don't know yet. Yay, Charmaine's back.
Yes, I'm back. I had a driver at my door. I was going through my mod my mod thing, and um yeah, I mean, I recognize this person, I think, from a live last night, and I don't understand why they're here. It's fine as long as they're respectful, but you know, we see things. In my city in Ontario, we have community liaison officer, useless, but the NDP loves to sell that system to get community funding. So what exactly does a community liaison officer do? Because out here at West, a community liaison officer is what we call our um the police officers that would be um at a school. We either call them a resource officer or community liaison officer, and they're not just like school cops, but they would be actual law enforcement, and not a mall cop, anything like that, but they would be the ones that are stationed at places like public places like that that are more of a community resource, but they're still law enforcement. Is that what that is there too? The environment between Daniel and Malehya influenced the disappearance of the kids. If they had a happy relationship, the kids would not have disappeared. I think for most scenarios that we're going to consider, that's a fair statement. Um, but one could argue that, you know, if the parents were neglectful for an evening, maybe arguing, maybe partying a little bit too hard, and decided to sleep in, and the kids happened to slip out that sliding back door and made their way up to the road or got lost, happy or not, something like that would happen in any case. You know what I mean? You don't have to be unhappy to have your kids decide they're going to go outside because parents were neglectful that morning. Just again, playing devil's advocate. Was that for me? They do it to create a diversion, so you will pay attention to them because they love you, Shar. Yes, Harley does. I know. They should use another term. I'm not a troll. Nobody thinks you're a troll. I don't think anybody thinks you're a troll. Okay. I think it was confirmed that there were a shitload of cameras in the area, but none showing the property or that driveway or that immediate area. Like trail cams, what was it, Melissa? I want to say like 6 kilometers away in the bush. I could be
It was a
wrong.
distance away, but I don't remember exactly how far. I can try to get that information though.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Shannon. Thanks for being here.
So somebody asked if I had heard about the bathtub being full of water, and yes, I have. And like I've said before, if you live in an area where it commonly freezes, it wouldn't surprise me because you can still use that water to heat up for a bath or to, possibly wash dishes or take a bird bath, right? Like, that doesn't, unless it comes back when the kids are found that they were drowned, it doesn't hold a high significance to me.
Well, and I mean, I've heard from both sides that there was no water in the bathtub, so I don't know where that came from. Harley, stop crying. My gosh. It's all good. Don't even worry about it. You're when you use all caps, people kind of side eye you anyways. But I mean, this community is amazing. We're kind, we're patient. We try our best to bring everybody up to speed. So no apologies necessary. Why would they want Daniel's blood for DNA testing? Um, Obviously they found some forensic evidence on something or trying to determine if it was evidentiary value. Probably, and I mean, I'm surprised it took them 7 months to get his DNA. Why wouldn't they just have it? Like, I'm sure they had uh, Malehya's DNA. That would have been more for, and I don't mean more for, but they would need her DNA for identification purposes had they found remains, just as an easy way to confirm the identity. But Daniel not being blood related, that would have to do with elimination of inclusion of evidentiary biological evidence, I guess, or potential evidence. I don't think there's any paid informants. Janie turned down a free beer and dog treats. True. Wasn't it cigarettes and dog treats and Earl turned down the beer?
Yes,
Pretty
they
sure.
bribed her with dog treats and cigarettes.
Hmm. He did. My shirt is way too big. All types of abuse is traumatic, harmful, and leaves a mark in some way on a victim survivor's life. There is none worse than the other. It affects everyone completely differently. Zero tolerance we need, right? And there are financial abuse. There's physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. There's all different forms of abuse, and depending on the individual, I don't think you can properly rate the effect on each person. Um, yeah. In my opinion, we have to dive and search teams that have missed all sorts of stuff, but later located in different depths of water. hmm I shared a story yesterday, and I can't remember with who, otherwise I'd pull it up. But they had literally searched for this person for, I want to say, 8 years, you guys. And they had searched the area that he had just recently been found in. They had searched it before numerous times. and he had simply been missed, and this is a grown person. So is it impossible that the kids are out there and they've just been missed? It's not impossible.
So I just want to say something real quick, sir. Everybody's talking. I know you're behind in chat, but everybody's talking about the bathtub of water. I am not saying that there was a bathtub of water. I want to be clear on this. I am not saying that there was. I am saying, however, I have heard that rumor, and it does not make me any more worried, I guess, or any more concerned. It doesn't make me wonder. Right? So I just want to be clear, because people are talking about there was no bathtub, and then others are saying, well, I heard it too. I heard it, but I didn't hear it from Daniel or Janie or Malehya or RCMP. So unless I hear it from one of those four, it is speculation and rumor. It is not fact. So I want to make sure people aren't taking what I said wrong. Because I'm not saying for a fact there was. I'm saying if.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know where that originated from, because I have heard from both sides that there was no water in the bathtub. So, and I mean, these things, they come out of kind of nowhere, and who knows, maybe Daniel said it at some point to somebody and, it turned into what it is now. Or like, it's hard to track where these rumors or these information come from. So, like, for me, it's not even if Daniel says it or Malehya says it. It's, once we hear it from the RCMP, I'll believe it. Everything else is total speculation to me. Hi, Charmaine. Has anyone heard from Daniel since these documents came out? I know of 3 people, myself not included, but I know of 3 people that have regular contact with Daniel. Um, so I don't know if there's like a part 2 of your question. I don't have the answer to that. I do not. If I have a question for Daniel, I know who I need to reach out to get the answer most times. But I really haven't had too much to ask him lately. Um, I, I, my questions generally have been more about Jack and Lily, their their likes, their dislikes, pictures, things to help people understand, or just remember that we're not just talking about YouTube content and fodder for Facebook. These are real children who are out there somewhere with a family that loves them and misses them, and you would think are worried sick about them. And those are the types of questions that I have for Daniel and Malehya at this point. Tell me about these children. Let's humanize them again, because they're not just a missing persons photo. With all the drama and stuff that goes on, I feel like they're forgotten. They get lost in it all, and that's what I that's what I want from the family at this point. I don't know that we're going to get anything useful out of either side. So why not try to get something that we haven't got yet? Maybe I'm just wrong, but oh no,
Oh no,
Belynda, I
Belynda, I
am
am.
in Justin's every day. I have been following. Oh, you've been watching Clutch Them Pearls?
And I agree with you, Charmaine. Lily and Jack aren't just names or pictures. At one point, they were running around and smiling and laughing and screaming and playing with toys. Right? They're real people. They're not just pictures that you see. And I know Charmaine and myself and Daphne and Jen and everybody, we try to keep their name out there and keep them humanized. And they are getting lost in the drama, and the drama has to stop, because it's not helping Jack and Lily's case whatsoever. You're muted. Hey, Charmaine, you're muted.
Oh,
I tried to unmute you, but it wouldn't let me.
oh. I was just saying, Pictou, what the heck is going on in your workplace that you might have to delete your YouTube and all internet profiles? In either way, get to safety if you can tell us what's going on, but get to safety first.
I know he had posted another one. I don't know if you're to it or if you might have overlooked it. I'm not sure, but he said that somebody had called him I think it was like heavy footsteps or something like that. Um, I'd have to try to go back and find out exactly what he said, but
I
it
heard
didn't
that.
it didn't sound good, put it that way.
Yeah, I heard that one. I'm not sure. Um, there's also bent detectives that threaten people to change their stories. Isn't that just in the movies? RCMP are notorious for long game plans, as a love interest or a biker are the most common. Yeah, that's called the Mr. Big sting operation. Hey, Maritime Girl, I'm happy to see you. Plus, on the Pictou case, a high up RCMP told Pictou who the informant was. Oh yeah, Wolfie, I have a chat to be had with you. That sounds like drama. We're not doing that here. Do you think anyone will ever say something, even if charges were ever brought up?
Yes,
You do?
yes. If I
I
honestly believe if they are going, if they it comes to a point, let's just pick Daniel. That or no, let's pick Malehya. I honestly feel if they say, okay, well, Malehya, we haven't found the kids, but we've deemed you to be neglectful, so we're going to charge you with neglect. I think mouths are going to start opening real quick between those three. I think they're going to blame each other. I think that they will start talking real quick if charges are laid.
If charges are laid, I won't disagree with that. Uh, or was I? Okay, so I have done what CJ has asked. Covert human intelligence sources are individuals who secretly gather information for authorities by developing relationships, often involving undercover work or acting as informants, crucial for national security and serious crime prevention like terrorism or human trafficking. These sources, also called agents, work under strict legal frameworks with handlers, case officers, and can be authorized to participate in limited criminal conduct to remain credible within target groups, requiring authorization and oversight under laws like the UK's CHIS Act of 2021. Interesting, but that sounds to me like the Mr. Big sting operations. Of course, but yeah. He informed them of his discussions with Malehya, hence informer. So if I'm informing them of my conversations with Daniel, does that make me an informant?
By Darlene's
They made
logic,
me.
yeah.
What?
I said by Darlene's logic, yeah.
They made him see that to make him think. I'm sorry, I missed. You also get detectives that get someone to say they've seen something that's corruption. Absolutely, it is if they're not truthful. Well, I don't know what we're Keep the drama out of here, please. Harley's losing it because there's a little dog barking outside. So if he gets much louder, I'm going to mute and you can take over and we can talk about um um what do we want to talk about next? So we're just going through chat. So did we talk about any theory yet?
No, not yet. I've got a couple starred over here.
Okay.
So like this one, AJ and Charmaine, does Daniel Martell have any other significant past charges? What is his previous rap sheet? I cannot answer that. Charmaine, can
He
you?
doesn't have one.
Okay, well, that answers that. Jam did the Jam said, one blood relative, she has spoken the whole time. Why? Why would Belynda file documents for information and Cyndi didn't have to? Well, Cyndi has access to Malehya, so she gets those documents. Whereas Belynda does not have access to those documents. Because she's considered a grandparent and she's not talking with Malehya or Daniel. Charmaine, correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's how that works, right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over Harley's howling.
I don't even hear
Let me
Harley.
put him outside. I'll be right back.
So, that's why, in my opinion, Cyndi would not have to file, and because she's got access to Malehya, so she's got access to those documents. Deborah Dixon, I'm so confused about the dog situation. What dogs were there, and what Haley said in response with the dogs. I don't know as far as like what the RCMP has said, because to my knowledge they haven't said anything, but Haley did say that the dog in the video from Janie's interview is not the dog that she's seen on that property. But my question in response to that is, why does it matter? Why do we care whose dog and what dogs were on the property? Because a dog didn't hurt the kids. A dog didn't do this, right? There would have been evidence had it been an attack of some sort by some animal. Dog, bear, coyote, whatever. So I don't understand why there is so much focus, and you guys can maybe tell me why you think that it's so important to know what dogs were on the property, because it doesn't hold any significance for me. Malehya handed the kids off, in my opinion. Her dad, a tracker, I bet Malehya learned a few things from him. She very well could have, Sue. She very well could have. That is one of the things, and I have that, under number 5, which is Malehya arranged for them to be hidden. So, I mean, it's a possibility. Nothing's off the table. We don't know for sure, and we don't know for sure because the kids haven't been found. Michelle, AJ, is there any way you are leaning the most right now? Yes, there is. And I've shared my opinion. I'm trying to keep an open mind, even though I feel like this was more of a nefarious thing. But I am trying to keep an open mind as to what it could be. Deborah said, question, Janie wasn't supposed to be there. Was Justin supposed to be there? Whose dog was there? Justin's pitbull. Okay, again, I don't think the dog matters. Really don't. And you have wasn't in caps. Janie, it's not that she wasn't supposed to be there, like, legally. It's just on Fridays, she goes to town, to go shopping and stuff with her brother, right? And that's an every Friday thing. So they didn't know she was home. It's not that she wasn't supposed to be there. It's just they didn't know she was there, because generally speaking, she would have been at town. Was Justin supposed to be there? I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. Tracy said, I heard that there was no water in the bathtub directly from Daniel. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good to know. Melissa, so why haven't they charged them yet? I don't know, Carla. I have asked that question myself multiple times, and every time I ask that question, I get the same answer. And it's because they don't want to lay minuscule charges, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they don't want to lay like abuse or neglect charges when they want to get them for the big thing, right? They don't want to get them for a smaller charge. Whether or not that's the real reason, I don't know.
And just to add on to that, like I say, when the RCMP, or sorry, when major crimes, sorry, when law enforcement is ready to lay charges, they take it to the Crown, and if the Crown, they're the ones that decide if the charges are strong enough to hold up in court. So if they're not brought enough evidence, they will kick it back and say, bring me more. So,
Hey, Charmaine, hold on. Whoever Bonnie Garrett is, you need to quit spamming the chat. If you've got something to say, say it. Do not spam the chat. Sorry,
what's
continue.
Bonnie Garrett saying?
I blank, L blank, G blank, like just S. I mean, just being an ass. Saying the alphabet.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with Bonnie Garrett. I've never seen her be any certain way in chat. So I'm not seeing it, and I'm behind. So maybe I'll go to the end. Sorry, just let me, like, I don't want to get caught up in any kind of shit. So if there's any kind of shit going on, just do me a favor and leave me out of it. At this point in the investigation, Jack and Lily's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature since they are still missing. Polygraphs were given with the intention to rule this out. Yeah, totally. But everything is still on the table. Me and you, we can take it outside if you want. I'll meet you at the bike racks, but I mean, you can see it your way and I see it mine. As the report said, there's been some wild conspiracies and finger pointing without an inch of evidence. Best to stick to the facts, really, and perhaps a few what ifs. Has to follow the law here. Right. Harley's losing it. And I don't want to put him outside because the little dog that's barking doesn't sound like he's on a leash, so I'm not even going to try. So go ahead, Melissa.
But that is that is, you know, something that they've been dealing with. They're getting the RCMP all of these tips, you know, and you've got psychics calling in and mediums calling in, and then you've got people calling in because they seen what a psychic said or what a medium said. Like for me, and like when I was creating the document, I focus on what I deem as factual. And what I deem as factual is from the court documents, from the RCMP. And in there, yes, it says things that Daniel said, it says things Malehya said, Janie said, and all that. But we have to take everything that they say with a grain of salt, because we don't know, we weren't there. We don't know what happened. And they're not, in my opinion, going to tell us exactly what happened. So we have to stay in the facts the best we can. Melissa, could they start with a lesser charge like child neglect? Then if evidence unveils, hit them with further charges. Julie, that's what I've said. I fully believe that if they did that, Daniel or Malehya or Janie would be talking a lot sooner. But it's up to, like Char said, it's up to the Crown. And if the Crown says, no, there's not enough evidence, then they just won't do it. And I mean, unfortunately, we don't have power over what they decide. Bonnie, thanks, Sherman. You know me. It wasn't done on purpose. No need to be rude, AJ. Clearly a mistake. Once or twice would have been a mistake, but you're welcome to stay. And you can't believe mainstream media. They add their own touch. They do. And they'll take a video and then they'll crop it together, and it's not in the form, like, it's not continuous of what actually was said when. I personally, I don't. Mainstream media is, I don't know, a lot.
like to address there's something going on with chat. People are getting upset with other people. And if you I mean, honestly, you can perceive anything any way you want to perceive it, but just stop jumping down people's throats, okay? So if there was an informant, do you think they're going to tell you they're of course they're not. Excellent point. Lawyering up. Everybody wants to talk about lawyering up. Malehya got a lawyer, a family lawyer, to do with Meadow. Okay. Family lawyers are usually different than criminal lawyers. So when we say Malehya lawyered up, there's no there's no indication anywhere that it had anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. She is dealing with the loss of Meadow to CPS right now. She needs a family law lawyer to deal with that. So we don't know the ins and outs, so we don't need to argue amongst ourselves about it or get upset with other people about it. Holy shit, people, one blood relative. She has spoken the whole time. Who are we talking about? Why would Belynda file documents for information and Cyndi didn't have to? Because, and this is just my opinion, but because Belynda wasn't getting any information. She was blocked by Malehya. She had no way to get the information. We don't know what went on behind closed doors. We know what we've heard from people who enjoy drama and rumors, but I've never heard it from Malehya. I've never heard it from Cyndi. I have heard Belynda's side, but I mean, holy shit, people. Like, you don't know, you weren't there. So stop being mad at other people for having an opinion. Like, that's not, you got plenty other channels to go to and start your shit. Just don't do it here. Kiss my grits, Ron. Me too, Ron.
I have not heard that in forever.
Yeah, me either. That's why I read it. Did the children get back home from the city? So we've heard from Janie that the kids were playing outside Thursday. We've heard from Daniel that the kids are playing outside. I don't know that we've heard anything from Malehya backing that up. But if you're talking about actual CCTV or anybody outside of the residents of that property, like, no, we don't.
Well, you've got Cyndi saying that she would have seen the kids too, and that's something that people are concentrating on is they're saying, well, Cyndi didn't see the kids, or it doesn't say Cyndi seen the kids. What it does say is that there was a 12-minute phone call, a video call that afternoon, and it gave the time. I can't remember it right off the top of my head. It was 3:30 something, I think. And it says she would have seen the kids. So that was the RCMP basically condensing what Cyndi said. Cyndi said, if Cyndi would have said, yeah, I had a 12-minute phone call with Malehya, I seen the kids, yada yada, the RCMP is the ones that said would have seen the kids, right? Not Cyndi, it wasn't in quotation marks. But again, you go back to that, and Cyndi also said she did not see anything wrong. There was nothing unusual, right, in that call. So, in my opinion, Charmaine, Cyndi did see the kids. I mean, but like you said, there's no like CCTV footage or anything about it. But in my opinion, the kids did make it home because there's too many references to either the phone call or the kids playing outside by multiple sources that leads me to believe that they did actually make it home.
Yes, and Addie, I am pulling something up right now. Right meow. That was lame. I'm sorry. But I'm going to do this. Why am I echoing? I guess they're all YouTube. Like, where am I gonna get a picture from? Okay, whatever. All right, let me just
So I
share my
want to
screen.
answer Addie here, Charmaine. It says,
This is about Addie. This
What are
is
the
her
statistical
question.
odds on 2 children going missing at once that is not an abduction? I would think very little, very few, right?
Sure, except for the ones that do happen. Case in point, Abby and Libby were abducted off of a bridge together. They're grown, like they were 13 and 14 years old. It happens. Statistics, I couldn't tell you, but you cannot say that it is impossible.
So when
Especially
I
small children that are, they talk to everyone. They're happy-go-lucky. They're very chatty kids. They'll talk to anyone. All the information that we have, their scent was lost at the end of the driveway. Is it likely? No. Is it impossible? No. Case in point on your screen, Abby and Libby were abducted from the end of the Monon High Bridge in 2017. It happens.
sure, when I covered Evansdale, one of the facts that I got from, oh shoot, I can't remember the name of the thing now. I'd have to go back and look, but there was a documentary about the Evansdale girls. And in that documentary, it said, now this was a couple years ago, that there were only 17 cases of double abductions in the United States since 1970. Lyric and Elizabeth were the 17th that were abducted since the 1970s. But I thought Addie said that were not abductions. Because I know the statistics on double abduction.
Yeah, I lost your comment. Oh, right here. That is not an abduction. What are the statistical odds on 2 children going missing at once? That is not an abduction.
I would think, again, very few, because all the double disappearances that I know of are double abductions.
Yeah, but I mean that's a question I think to be pondered because I don't know if we think about all the kids, people, whatever, even the ones that go missing from camping trips. Um, have you heard of 2 children wandering away? But again, their ages and where they live plays a huge part, right? I think that there's too many variables to even put this case into a statistical analysis to me, because you can say these 2 kids being abducted at once, people say, oh, it's so unlikely, but it happens. It does. It happens to kids a lot more, I guess. I mean, all of these kids, Abby, Libby, Lyric, Elizabeth, they were all raised to be wary of strangers and, don't talk to strangers but it still happened to them. But Jack and Lily are so young and they didn't have that stranger danger taught to them, although Daniel said he was trying, but they didn't have that. So if you put that up against the possibility of 2 children walking away together and neither one left a single trace, that like that's a really good question, Addie, because I never, like, it's not like I haven't thought of that before, but to me it would be more likely, looking at the entire scenario, to me it would be more likely for them to have been abducted together than it would be for them to have wandered off together and not to leave a single trace, footprint, nothing, right?
Yes.
That, in that sense, it's more likely that they were abducted if you're looking at it from that perspective. That's awesome. Thanks, Addie.
Yeah, and I mean, when kids go missing together, or I guess even maybe you could even say adults, but definitely with kids, yes, they will wander farther. But again, I go back to, there's no evidence, in my opinion, that they wandered and say a bear attacked them or whatever. But it is a question that I wouldn't mind having an answer to, because I know the the statistics on double abduction, but double disappearance, that's definitely a little harder. And like I said, I would think that it would be very few, especially like you said, with no evidence of.
That's the factor, right? Because you're like, even with Libby, her shoe was found, um, and Lyric, can't remember if it was Lyric's little play purse or whatever was found. Like, there were lots of items found, but to think that Jack and
Elizabeth.
Lily, 4 and 6 years old, wandered away together, supposedly into the woods, didn't leave a footprint, didn't leave a trail, didn't drop a single thing, didn't leave a single trace. It's just very, very hard for me to believe. And then stack onto that 150 searchers for 6 days, 75 more searchers for 2 more days, plus Daniel, Janie, Justin, Brian Ward's wife, all of you locals that went out there the first day to search. Nobody found anything but a piece of a blanket. That just that doesn't sit right when you're looking at it from that perspective.
No, because you would get their scent or a piece of clothing or more footprints or the diaper or the bag or wrappers from candy or something to drink. Like, I have an issue with people saying they wandered away for those reasons. Like, to me, there's no evidence showing that they wandered away. Now, we said a couple lives ago, could they have went to the end of the driveway, and could they have been abducted? I mean, I can give somebody that, right? Like, because that could happen. Lily could have got up and said, "Come on, Jackie boy, let's get ready for school," not knowing that they weren't going to school, thinking they were going to, meet the bus, and unfortunately happened to have somebody drive by and it be opportunity, to abduct them, possibly. But as far as wandered away in the woods, I have a harder issue with that because they haven't been found. There's no evidence that they were in the woods. And Charmaine, you've went walking in the woods, I'm sure. You've constantly got branches rubbing up against you, or cockaburs, or thorns poking you. Like, all of those things would leave a scent for a dog to grab onto.
Yeah, to me, in my mind, there's no way two small children can make their way into the woods without leaving a single trace. Now, does that mean that they just, they could have completely missed the trail that they took or the path that they walked? It it doesn't, I mean, you can't rule it out, obviously, but I just like to say countryside. It's true. That didn't come out of Justin Clutch Them Pearls. That came out of Janie's mouth herself. Daniel told me that at the beginning, but then Janie in those voice clips, she basically said, like, this is what this one reporter did. Is that somebody you really think I should talk to? And my answer was like, yes. If they're going to spread the word about your missing step grandchildren, then absolutely. And you get free cigarettes and dog treats out of it. I don't see a problem with it, but maybe, maybe, maybe that's why I'm not a journalist. Maybe they're not supposed to do that. I don't know, but that definitely happened.
Yes, Janie
Heard of
said it
many
out of
cases
her
like
own mouth.
this,
And she said, and somebody else declined, and they tried to bribe them with a case of beer.
which was Earl. Um, if you're out there and you're messaging me, stop it. I'm doing a live stream right now. Anybody? $30 a pack. Oh, right. Or is the indigenous, I don't even know. They've got this, I know, a cannabis issue with selling cannabis in BC. the um reservations, you can go onto reservations and they have tobacco stores and that are usually right next door to a cannabis uh dispensary. So, and if you go to the reservation to buy your cigarettes, they're like $30 a carton. So,
I was gonna say, is that a misprint there, a mistype? $30 a pack or $30 a carton? And I'm watching
no,
chat
they're
for the answer to that one.
that's that's our taxes. They're $30 a pack now. You bet.
Holy
For regular cigarettes.
smokes.
And we don't have the different like kinds like in the States, you get Marlboros or whatever. We have that here, but they're all the same now. You get regular menthol, or sorry, regular or king size, and they're all like 27 to $30 a pack. Yeah.
Holy shit. I thought $10 here in the States was a lot for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh, um, Daniel was, the news was in contact with him. They said they call him for comment, and he said they were trying to paint him as evil, and it's untrue. Something is binding Malehya and Daniel together. I don't agree with that. Hmm. When you have little ones, it's very stressful, and when you are counting on child support and it doesn't come in, it's so difficult. I've been there. That's for sure. Facts. So the bathtub left filled is not in any documents, it sounds like. No, it's not. And someone just said it like, Shar, okay, I have been meaning to ask AJ, so thanks for clarifying. Yeah, like I cannot figure out where or when that started, but it's not in any documents. Both Daniel's side and Malehya's side have both told me that there was no water in the bathtub. Um,
Right.
yeah, I can't even remember where I heard that first, but I was never able to solidify it from anywhere.
I don't remember where I first heard it either. I just remember hearing it. But again, it's not in any court documents. Which is kind of my gold standard of what I refer to as what happened. Um, so I mean, I I don't see the point. I mean, let's say there was, okay, what's that? So what? There isn't. Okay, so what? To me, that kind of falls into the dog category. What dog was on the property to me doesn't matter. I don't see a point in it. Just like the bathtub, I really don't see a point in that rumor. Like, in my opinion, people need to stick to the facts and be very careful of who they believe when it comes to facts. And that's one of the reasons I did the document, because it's all based on what can be corroborated, not corroborated, by other facts, right? I've seen it, either it's in a court document and Daniel said it, or Daniel said it and somebody else said it separate, but I just don't see what it has to do with anything.
So I kind of sort of a little bit remember the first time I heard about water in the bathtub, and I know it had to have been before this, but the first time I got wind of it was after the HRD dogs had came and left and found nothing. Somebody told me, well, there was water in the bathtub, and that would hinder the scent if anything was under the trailer. And I thought, well, that sounds like a big bunch of bullshit, but because law enforcement would catch on to that, and um, we know that there was an officer inside the trailer, so that that's yeah, that's not a thing. And then the thing about, and I understand this confusion because I'm also confused about it, but it's still, I don't think has any relation to what happened to Jack and Lily. But Belynda did not see a dog, but they heard a dog, and I think it was her sister saw a dog in the window of the RV. The dog that was seen was larger. Belinda never saw a dog, but it seemed like it had a deeper bark than Free Fluffy, whatever her dog's name is. So
Tucker.
that's what I keep echoing.
Well, it's your issue tonight, not me. Gee whiz. But I remember Haley said something too, and I think it was the other night when she was on with Sunny, and she said that she seen a tan dog, and that the dog she seen in the video that Janie did with the news showing on the property, that is not the dog that she's seen. But I also go back to what does the dog really have to do with it? And as far as you said, water in the bathtub would prevent the smell from underneath the trailer. Okay, it would. But remember, they flew a drone under the trailer, right? It's in the court documents. They flew a drone under the trailer, and there was only one small piece that they couldn't get to see. So, in my opinion, based on what they said, there's no way possible that the kids would be under the trailer. There just isn't.
So just making my way through chat. Okay, who knows? Oh, you see Harley? He finally gave up, but I'm behind. So I'm going to scroll down. Oh my gosh, I'm really behind. Oh my goodness.
So if you want to scroll down, I can address 2 comments that I had starred. Also, there would have been urine between 2 toddlers. Dogs would have smelled that for sure. I agree. And that was in response to the scent in the woods. And you're completely right. Like, they're not going to hold it, right? They're going to have to go. So, again, just another point that proves, in my opinion, that there's no way that they went into the woods on their own volition. If kids were abducted, then there would be no need for all the lies, in my opinion. You are completely right, Robin. There wouldn't be. And there are so many lies from what seems like everybody. I know it's not everybody, but there are a lot of lies in this case, and there are a lot of rumors, and there is a lot of changing of stories. And in my opinion, that's a lot more suspicious than if you just have the same story all the way through. So, Crime Science Story says the dog matters because it shows another lie from Janie. There's a reason she's lying. Okay, I can give you that it matters because it's a lie from the people that were on the property, but my rebuttal to that would be, unless you think that a dog did something or attacked Jack and Lily, then what does it matter? Because there's no evidence to show that the kids were attacked by an animal, whether that be a dog, a coyote, a bear, whatever. So again, yes, it shows that there's lying going on, but what does it really matter? Maybe she was afraid for whatever reason that the dog's owner would be implicated or something. I don't know, but I just don't see that that it matters, in my opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Somebody, I mean, if you think I'm wrong, give me hard evidence as to why you think I'm wrong. Because I'm willing to hear you out. Change my mind. Prove to me that the dog matters. Lori, it's crazy this dog talk. If it was of importance, the RCMP would have long ago mentioned it, right? And they didn't. Okay, so good point. It's not mentioned in any of the court documents, anything like that, but I think RCMP seriously failed in locking down the scene, and feel like they should have treated it as a crime scene from the get-go. You can downgrade that. You cannot upgrade it, because they can't now go back after all this time and get evidence from that day. Just my opinion. Dogs, Jenny has Tucker and Justin has a pity he took it home that day and they did not swap the dogs. And you know, maybe it was Justin's dog. Let me play devil's advocate. It was Justin's dog. Justin didn't want to leave the dog at home. Said, hey mom, can I put the dog in your trailer? Hey mom, can you watch the dog? I have a Chihuahua. I have dog sitters. And I'm like, hey, I gotta go do this. Can you watch the dog for a couple hours? You know, or can you watch the dog because I've got to be gone overnight? Maybe he didn't trust the dog. Some dogs have separation anxiety and they tear things up. I mean, but again, unless you think that the dog did something, I don't see that it's of much importance. There's a picture of a large gray-haired dog, looked like part wolf with Jack and Lily. I haven't seen that. Charmaine, you are such a great dog owner. Lucky pup. He is lucky, isn't he? She tried to slander him earlier. Did you hear that? Poor Harley. Dog didn't attack. I thought the dog allegedly led Justin to living there. Yeah, I mean, there was no dog attack, so let's just, leave that. 12 warrants wasn't at check the property, so no evidence of a crime. Why is that so hard to believe? They wondered when Jack did when he was 2. Jack did wonder when he was 2. He did. That's fact. That's, you know, that's a known fact. But, and I'm not saying that they couldn't have wondered. What I am saying is they didn't wander outside of that search area, in my opinion. And there is no evidence to show that they wandered, right? There's no footage of it. Of course, that would have to come from a trail cam. So the fact that they live in such a rural area helps in the sense of you could get away with it easier, I guess, is the way to put it. Because it's not like you're in town where every other house has a camera, or you're in a more populated area where people have cameras, or you have stores. So, I mean, is it possible that they wandered at first? Yeah. But I don't think that that's the cause of why they haven't been found, because there's no evidence to support it. If you can give me concrete evidence to support that they wandered, I have to count that out as a possibility, personally.
What is this, Cindy B? The cadaver were 6 months out, but there's no way it happened there. There'd be evidence all over the place. It's a ridiculous theory. They need to give it up. What is Cindy B talking about? Cindy B, are you being nice? Um, there's no way harm to the children happened there, because I would argue that there wouldn't be evidence all over the place. I do agree that there were no there was no decomposition that happened on the property. I absolutely agree with you there. Um, and so I've pulled up Google Earth because I checked, I got it, and it was forwarded to the person who has a vested interest in that information. Thanks, Gren. Um, yes. Okay, correct. Okay, the dog. The last I'm going to say about the dog today. Belynda never saw the dog. She never saw the dog. She heard the dog and then saw Janie's dog on the news and thought, well, that doesn't seem right to me. And her sisters saw the dog. Belynda never saw the dog, according to Belynda's own words. Um, if the lawyer said that she saw the dog, then we will, at that point, go back and pull up where Belynda said she didn't see the dog. But we should be able to drop it from there if we could. through the inside of the trailer. I don't know that the dogs went through the trailer, the inside of the trailer 3 times, but yeah, they were inside the trailer. They wouldn't do that if they didn't think there was a possibility that the kids were unalive inside the trailer. Right. And they didn't bring in the HRD dogs to appease the public. They just didn't. They had to have they had to have justification to spend those funds out of their tight budget to bring HRD dogs from British Columbia and Alberta all the way there. So, um, blatantly obvious that they're blatantly negligent. Yes, but what's obvious to us, they need evidence that's going to hold up in court to, you know, to establish a charge worth laying at this point. So, are you going to wait until you have all of the evidence that you can possibly gather to lay the most charges? Like I can't even begin to know what the RCMP have and what they don't have and what they truly think happened to Jack and Lily. So the fact that they haven't been charged with the blatantly obvious neglect that we're saying here tells me that they don't have enough evidence to support such a charge at this time. Or they have bigger goals at this time. He very well may have, but I tuned Derwood out. So
Charmaine,
they had a
they had a
falling
falling
out.
out.
They had a
They had a
falling
fall.
out, Tracy. You you can say whatever you want. We understand Daniel's got his side of the story, but in the documents, in the court documents, it said that Daniel had a falling out with Patty. So that has to be what we go on. It's unfortunate, but they've made this situation what it is with the inconsistencies and stuff. It's not that we don't. We would love to be able to believe everything Daniel says. We would love it. It would make life so much easier because he actually talks. But he's created this situation for himself. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of where he is in this.
So, Charmaine, I wanna tambourine. That's your opinion, Melissa. There is eyewitness accounts of the dog that are credible. Don't discredit our opinions on it, please. It could be quite significant. And Tambourine, I don't mean for you to feel like I'm discounting your opinion, because like Charmaine, I'm open to all opinions. I just need you to prove to me why you think that way, because in my opinion, and I have stated that that is my opinion, it isn't relevant. But if you can show me something that states and shows that it is relevant, please do so. But again, I don't mean for you to think I am trying to discredit your opinion, because I'm not. I'm just saying in my opinion, and I need more proof of.
You don't think that the dogs that are trained to pick up human decomposition and bodily fluids would have picked that up? No, I don't. And to be able to clean up every single trace of a dog attack? No. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. Devil's advocate for dog theory. This is the last of the dog that I want to talk about. If Janie put new gravel down because a dog bit them in the driveway, same spot where the boot print was, would that be the same scent or a different scent? You said drop it. No, I said. I think I said. I didn't say drop it. I just said I don't want to talk about the dog. But um
I'm gonna second what Charmaine just said. You don't think that the cadaver dogs would have picked up on that? And yes, they're gonna bring cadaver dogs in for the trailer, right? But to get to the trailer, they have to walk by that area. And in my opinion, I guess I need to state that more often, they would have picked that up. So I I just don't feel that the dog really has a lot of significance. Now, that being said, Firehorse said a dog on the property could suggest another person on the property. And you're correct. It could. Maybe in that sense it does matter, but too many people are running with this whole dog thing, and it's in my opinion not helping anything. It's not helping us move forward in this case, in my opinion.
If it were a dog attack, there would be lots of blood and they cannot hide by watching the gravel, right? But I mean, you can't get rid of every trace, especially when they had dogs in. I get it, the HRD dogs didn't come for months, but that's to get rid of biological fluids, like decomposition fluids. It's it's next to impossible. You should Google it. Anyways, you guys, I want to
So
find out.
Charmaine,
You guys would know. Just a minute, just a minute. Let me get this out. And then people can like get all this dog stuff out of their system and then answer my question. Just give them a couple minutes to think about it. Mind chefs, where are we looking? Tell me where to go on this map. Okay, Melissa, you're up. Go ahead. Whatever
did
you were
I
going to say.
did I send you the thing the other day? Something I learned this week. And I would love if anybody in the chat can tell me if this is true or not, because I haven't been able to figure it out. But it made me wonder. Did you know that supposedly that okay, so when you die, right, human cadaver dogs pick up on that scent. That's a specific scent, right? So did you know that surfaces like even stone, and we know wood, right, would soak in a smell, right, because of the fluids themselves. But did you know even headstones supposedly can soak in the scent of human remains? Can anybody tell me if that's actually true?
Yes, it's true. That's why I say you need to Google. You need to Google it or even go back and watch the media release that I put just in the video form, um, where they talk about the training and things that these dogs are trained to detect. And then Google some of the cases where HRD dogs have detected human decomposition decades after a corpse had been removed from the area. So it's not like a little bit of raking and new gravel is going to cover up the scent of blood. You know what I'm saying? Like I just I that's one of the theories that for me in my head I would discount because there there would be a lot of it gets so graphic if you want to actually sit and talk about a dog attack or an animal attack in any sense. It would be so graphically obvious that something happened and no possible way to clean up every shred of evidence with RCMP officers, trained searchers, family, dogs, drones, all of the resources that they used in the first few days to not find a single minuscule trace of any evidence. I don't think it happened.
I agree. I just found it fascinating because I didn't realize. I, I knew that scent, like on clothes and stuff like that, stayed for a long time, but I didn't realize like wood and stones and stuff like that would soak in that smell. I found that very interesting, and I've got to look more into it because to me that is really neat.
For sure. Anybody? The trouble with search dogs too, Shar, it is hit and miss finding missing persons. Sure it is. I understand that it can be, but two sets of dogs, one specifically trained for human decomposition, to not hit on anything. I just I don't doubt. There was another comment that I wanted to, not this one, but sorry, but people are touched if they think these hillbillies are smart enough to go out and rake to create a distraction. So, in my opinion, Justin was crying, and I don't know for sure. This is simply my opinion, Dodie, but Justin was crying because come Monday morning and those kids still weren't found, and Malehya had left. Things were not looking good. So, that in and of itself is enough to send somebody reeling, wondering what the hell happened to Jack and Lily, because I have information that people thought that they were going to be found relatively quickly, and then when Friday went into Saturday, people started getting a lot more nervous, and then come Saturday night and Malehya left, they still believed that, we're going to find the kids. We're going to find them. And by Monday, shit went sideways, and that would be enough to upset anybody, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, in a way, when I first heard that Justin was crying, I was like, oh, he definitely had to have been told something. But I don't know so much that he was told something as maybe he had a gut feeling, or maybe simple fact that they hadn't been found yet was more than he could handle, because he thought and truly thought that they would have been found. I think it was not so much that he knew something specifically, as far as he was coming to the realization that the kids haven't been found. They're still out there. And I think he just came to the realization that they were gone.
And this one, you're exactly right, Beverly. Like, if they weren't in the right location, then of course they're not going to pick anything up, and that just goes to my point that there were never any cadavers on the property. There was no human decomposition for them to pick up. So, does that mean that they're not? Does that mean that the children are alive, being hidden somewhere? I mean, that doesn't prove or disprove anything. It just proves that where the dog searched, the children's remains, nobody's remains, were never there, basically. Um, Gotta remember, it wasn't one kid that they were looking for. There are two, so for absolutely not a single thing for all the dogs, they'll probably completely miss everything. Yeah, that's my point. So highly unlikely for the kids to have walked into the woods and neither one of them to leave a single trace. It's just absolutely bizarre. More likely they walked to the road and both were picked up. Both highly unlikely, but more likely that they were picked up at the road than, you know, my opinion.
I have to agree
My
with you
opinion.
on that, because like you said, for two children to walk into the woods and leave zero trace, right? Makes no sense. But the dog going to the end of the driveway with their scent gives more chances that that would have happened and they would have been taken from the end of the driveway. I'm right there with you on that one.
My information was that Justin was seen crying, sobbing on Monday, not Saturday. Um, Justin was not staying at the property. I have that information from people that were on the property. Had Justin been staying on the property, he would be mentioned in those documents. I challenge you to find it. I believe Belynda saw the dog. She has said so from day one. No, I was on the live stream with Belynda when she explained about the dog. She didn't see the dog. Don't make me pull it up. She did not see the dog. She heard the dog. And when she actually saw Janie's dog on the news, she was like, that didn't sound like the dog I heard. Or that doesn't look like the dog I heard. Her sister, I believe it was her sister that was with her, saw a dog in the window of the RV. And when they saw the news with little Fluffy or whatever, that wasn't the dog that sister saw, and it didn't look like the kind of dog that Belynda heard. We can pull it up if you want, but I'm telling you, I remember it.
And there's a big difference if Harley barks and my Chihuahua barks. Because Harley's a lot bigger, so he's got more of a deeper... Big dogs bark different than little dogs, is the point. So, hearing it, you can say, oh, that sounds like a little dog, or oh, that sounds like a big dog, I better back away. In my opinion, you can tell a difference between a little dog bark and a big dog bark. Say that 10 times fast.
You absolutely can, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can estimate the size of that dog, and I've seen smaller, medium-sized dogs with quite deep barks, so I don't know. I've never heard Fluffy bark, and I know its name. I know that's not her dog's name, but you know what I mean. Tina says, I live in the area and we have a lot of hunters in Pictou County. If those children were in the woods, a hunter would have came across their remains by now. And that's always been a thought, a likely scenario, even by like some of the trained searchers. Like if they weren't able to find the children, they were confident that a hunter would by now. So, yeah. Absolutely, I agree. And I know it's unpopular opinion, but it is that do not I just based on the information that I've been given, I have no way to prove it, but I do not think Justin had any involvement. My own opinion. I think the kids ate drugs and it was an accident. Both parents know, so does Janie. It's possible. Is anybody aware of mine shafts? I want to know where to go here. I've always believed that they were abducted since there was no trace of them anywhere and the scent ended at the end of the driveway. Yeah, I mean, hey Chelsea, mom never seen the dog. I did and my aunt did. Right, and your mom heard the dog. And the dog she heard did not fit the dog seen on the news. I remember her saying it. I remember it.
I just wanted to say, hi, Chelsea.
Oh, okay, that's fine, but I'm telling you what she told me. I don't know what she told Mike DeMann.
So let me ask you, Char, do you think that the scent of the kids that went to the end of the driveway, could that not have anything to do with abduction, but have to do with the fact they went to school on Monday?
And Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's more bizarre to me that so these kids lived and played there. They were supposedly out playing in the yard that morning, but they didn't pick up a scent going into the woods, and they lost the scent at the end of the driveway. And no boot prints, the one boot print. That's more bizarre to me than, but, and people are saying, well, it rained heavily, blah, 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 this and that. Okay. So that makes, I don't know, does that make scent dogs more sketchy? They pick up scent, then lose it, then pick it up, then lose it? Because from my understanding, the scent dogs also they also went down the road to see if they could pick it up again, and they didn't. So the fact that the kids walked out, why am I echoing? So the fact that the kids walked out to the road every day to get the school bus, that's all well and fine, but they also played outside in the yard probably daily. And they ran up to the forts in the woods, maybe not daily, but they've done it before. Um, So for me, I would think the freshest scent would be what the dogs picked up on, and that was
Should
lost
be.
at the end of the driveway.
Should be, definitely, because that's, from my understanding, I've never worked with a scent dog, but from my understanding, they pick up on the freshest scent. That's why when police are chasing a suspect, they don't want other police officers in front of them because they want that freshest scent. But I do find it weird, like you said, that the scent wasn't noticed in the backyard or the front yard. And yes, water can affect, I know, the scent. If you go into like a creek or something, yes, your scent can be lost. But I don't think that just the rain itself would have diluted the scent for the scent dogs. And so I'm like you, I find it strange that there was nothing in the backyard or the front yard of the kids, and it just went to the end of the driveway.
Still looking for any comments that want to talk about mine shafts or map time. I'm willing to try today. You guys aren't, but we're at 2.5 hours, so I mean, I'm good with anything. I think, and it's not that it's not that we're attacking the dog attack theory. I think we've we've covered it. We've given our opinions. There's not a lot more to say other than highly unlikely that absolutely every bit of evidence could have been cleaned up and the children removed without leaving a shred of evidence. N- At some point, we have to move on to a different possible scenario. I think we've talked about the dog way too much today. To me, not attacking you, just saying.
So Chelsea said that there's lots of mine shafts in the area, and I remember Brad telling us that there was a mine shaft that he had went and looked at, and I know in the court documents, I don't have that pulled up right now, but in the court documents it did discuss that some mine shafts were searched due to they took the drone down there. But do we know, I mean, I don't, do you know exactly where the closest mine shaft or mine shafts are located in reference to where the house is?
That would be a big no. You want to know why? Because even I didn't even want to look into mine shafts at the beginning. And now that pretty much every other scenario, every other possibility has been, talked about, and we're going to keep talking about them. But I think maybe it's time to, just like it's time to look into the abduction theory, it's time for me to start taking the very real possibility. Like, explain to me how big a mine shaft is. Like, what are we talking about? You posted them, Gren? Did you?
Well,
Okay,
I think that
take over.
depends. I mean, some of them are probably bigger than others, but I think it's a very real possibility that, let's say, if they walked into the woods or went walking, that they could have fell in a mine shaft. I fully think that that's possible. And I also think it's possible if something nefarious happened, that they were possibly put into a mine shaft to try to hide them. But I think the mine shafts, in my opinion, would vary in size and depth. I really don't know a lot about mine shafts, but I think it's a very real possibility through several different ways.
All right, Gren, I am not seeing it. Oh, never mind. It's okay. One sec. Oh, you're still, no, I won't. What is, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay.
So I put a question up on the screen for you.
Oh, If the children were not completely unalived, like OD'd, and were carried out to the vehicle, would that eliminate their scent? So, from what I learned, usually it takes the human decomposition starts the moment the heart stops pumping blood through your body. Okay. There are certain things that have to happen for decomposition to exit, for fluids to exit the body. That process takes about 20 minutes to start. So if you're it's so hard to think about in this situation, but if you're it would have to be a quick removal for nothing to be left behind. I'm not saying that, and this isn't about this case, but say there's a drug overdose and you think the person is passed away, as long as their heart is still pumping blood, they're not decomposing. Can I leave it at that? Because I don't like it. So my thing with mine shafts is okay, so in the oil and gas industry, we sometimes have to do mud plugs. What mud plugs are is they take mud, actual mud, and they mix it with cement and just filler, and they'll use old rags or something to make a base for it. But we have to sometimes plug uh, pipelines in order to do maintenance and repairs on them. And that is so that sour gas or toxic um, gas doesn't come out and injure or kill our workers. So they created this that you can buy kits now, but you could actually make it out of mud and a little bit of cement and water and rags, just some kind of filler, whatever. But it takes about 2 hours to harden. And once that mud plug is in place, nothing gets through. No gases, no liquids, nothing gets through there until you soak it and you're able to break apart that mud plug. And then we use these pigs to push the remnants out. But I don't know what a mine shaft is. So my question is it is it a large opening? Is it possible that children could fall into one without seeing it? How
How
far
far
down does
down
it
does it
go?
go? I
And
forget who posted it, but they said they when you had asked that question a while ago, they said that a mine shaft, here it is. It's the size of a well.
yes, I did hear about that. Brutal, brutal. It's terrible. I bet it was messy. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
like how big are they? Like how big around? And are they well, not that Jack and Lily could read or anything, but do they have signage or barriers or like I need somebody to explain this area's mine shafts to me so we can discuss possibilities. And then if they were purposefully put in one, what it would take to seal it. Is it possible to seal it so no scent or gases would leak out of it? Those are my
those are my
questions when it
questions when
comes
it
to
comes to
this.
this. So I just Googled it, and it says mine shafts vary greatly in size from narrow um, to larger, and they house complex systems like pipes, cables, and beams, often with diameters from 5 to 20 meters in depth, from 100 to 1,000 meters, depending on the mining operation. And I had, where is it? There's a couple things that I had starred. She said on Laird Road, there's a mine shaft, and Bonnie said that one of the mine shafts have been filled in. So
Since when?
I don't know. Maybe Bonnie can tell us that. But I mean, you would have to think that the mine shaft, right? It's for minors, right? So it has to be big enough for an adult man. And I say man because that's generally who a minor is. There's very few women minors. So if it were an underground mine, I would think that it would have to be big enough for a grown man to fit in, right? And if it's big enough for a grown man to fit in, then I would think that it would be big enough for a small child, because these were not big kids. We can see from the picture they're not large children to fall in.
Thank you, Grin. I feel like the mine shaft idea, and I believe I could be wrong, but I think I heard that some of the search people are interested in searching some of the mine shafts come spring. So, and I don't know what it's like there now. Maybe some of the locals can tell me, are you snow covered there? Like, is there a reason why we're not able to search now? Is it because I don't know what your climate is like there? I know you get a lot of snow and winter storms though, but oh, really? That's interesting.
My question to advance on that of how big they are they safe to go in and search? Like, are they, can a searcher, let's say, that has mining experience, could they be tethered to a rope and lowered down to search? Because we know that they flew a drone in them, but I mean, they probably only flew the drone so far. You know what I mean? Like, is it possible? Is it safe um, to search with a human or even a dog an abandoned mine shaft? Does anybody know the answer to that? Or do you know the answer to that?
I don't, but it's so interesting and seems like there's so much information. I know Ninchi did a video on mine shafts, and I know a number of the actual ground search and rescue, and a couple of Please Bring Me Home people talk a lot about mine shafts. So I think we need to get detailed information about this area and their mine shafts. Um, do they still have working mine shafts there? Like, I know we do have mines in like far northern Alberta and in northern BC, but most of them they're not, I guess, active. But
So
that's
some
interesting
people
to me.
have said Chelsea was one of them, and J9 Max said that they're not safe to be searched. So thank you for that answer, because I wasn't sure.
Ooh, Ron Mexico. Sorry if I wasn't supposed to. Well, you said it in chat, so whatever. He sent me some pictures. Take over for a minute. Let me download these. I'm going to show them.
Okay, so Jam Grandel said that there's no active mines in the area, so that's good to know. Facts versus Myth said Mining Association of Nova Scotia has a Facebook page with maps of all the mines. So, hold on a minute. Okay, so I took a screenshot of that. I will go look into that, but that's a good way to look. JMac said, if you go on the geocache site, there is mention of a mine shaft in the same area where the Daniel Martell geocache was found. Apparently, there was a red rum victim found there at one point. That's scary. Our mines in Ontario, new ones are totally different than the ones that are close, some not safe to even step in. Well, that's what I didn't know if they would, because they have to be reinforced, right, for the minors. So I didn't know if they would still be safe. So thank you for those. I Googled it in Nova Scotia deep, 1,240 feet deep and 1,000 foot deep, over 7,000 abandoned mines in Nova Scotia. Holy crap, Animal Keeper. That's a lot of mines. They can use drones, Murray said, and cameras. But my question to that is, how far down can they get a drone? Like, can they get a drone way underground? Like, if you're underground, is that going to mess with the signal right to the drone? Because you don't want to lose your drone in there. So if you fly a drone in, is it going to mess with the signal? That's why I wasn't sure. It looks like Charmaine's got some stuff pulled up, so I'm turning it back over to you.
Okay, I want to read. Okay, let's make sure. So this is a second stage multi-hidden at the site of the abandoned copper mine. I don't know what that is, in New Lairg. The first waypoint is located just off Lairg Road on the east side, a short distance up the bank. The final is closer to the top of the hill. Interesting. There are 3 tunnels here altogether. Number 2 remains completely open. Number 3 is mostly filled in at the entrance, except for a small opening at the top, which a small and nimble person may be able to enter. Most interesting story of this area, however, is that number 1, today the entrance is completely sealed off aside from a small pipe for bat entry. The sealing was done by the government in 2002 after the body of a murdered man who had been missing since 1983 was discovered inside. You will likely come across the former site of the, I think that's tunnel, on the way to the final catch. Okay, so this is geocache stuff. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so here's one picture. So it's fairly large, obviously. But then, look at how small that one is. That opening is.
I still see the first picture that you had up, Char, with the man.
Well, I have to share them individually. That doesn't make any sense at all. Streamlabs, StreamYard. Look at that. Look at that.
I mean,
That's
it looks small, but do you think a small child could fit in that, though?
I absolutely do. Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they could. I mean, you have to remember these kids were tiny, so it wouldn't have to be a big space.
There's another one that's pretty big. All things considered. Is that the one? No. This is hard, you guys. I don't like it. It's just if I just share them as photos, I can't zoom in. So I have to share what I have on my screen so I can use the zoom thing. That one's quite a bit bigger. That's funny.
That one went away when you said that.
Yeah, well, if I zoom out, it's nothing. Then I can zoom all the way in. That's crazy. The differences in size.
So, I mean, they definitely vary. Which, I mean, we knew, but they definitely vary from, I would say, large to small. But I would think that the pipe, you said it was used for bat entrance, but I would think that the pipe would be used for ventilation.
Hmm.
Now, are these mine shafts or are these caves? Because these look more like caves to me.
Some of them do, but so interesting. Hmm. And then I got one more. I have to stop sharing and then reshare. So silly. Must be painful for you guys to sit here and watch me trip my way through this. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. See, that's obviously taken from inside, but just to show you, like, it seems to be pretty deep, and I don't know if that's, does that keep going? Or is that just the end of it?
I would
Either
assume that
way,
keeps going.
you could probably seal that. All are abandoned.
Well, I mean, let's play devil's advocate here. Even if they're put in a mine shaft that's big like this, they're put way back in. I would think that the shafts would have, and even if you want to call them caves at this point, but would they have enough like fallen debris and fallen rocks that you could cover the kids so that they wouldn't be seen? You know what I'm trying to say there?
Yes, but we don't know where the cadaver dogs went. We know that they searched 40 kilometers. You would think, and I mean, I don't think we will ever know for sure, but you would think they would have searched caves and mine shafts, especially the ones closest to the property.
Well,
Was
I'm
there
gonna
any?
pull up the document I did because I remember it said in there something about them searching mine shafts and wells. So while you go over this, I'm gonna pull that up and see if I can't find it.
Vestry is actually um, one of the reasons why I do what I do. Actually, um, yeah, that disaster in Nova Scotia caused a national change in workplace health and safety. Um, it's a much different world. We're still struggling for sure, but I'm really sorry for what you or your family went through, because that's, I know the story well, and it's terrible. It's terrible. And then what happened afterwards is even worse. So
So I found it. CBC.
just a
Just a
sec,
sec.
just a
Just a
second.
second.
Ron Mexico almost got killed by Brad's dog. Ron Mexico is not Ron Mackenzie, if that's what you think. So, um, I I don't think that, unless Ron went and visited Brad Wong, but Ron Mexico is not Ron Mackenzie, if that's what you're trying to get at. That's false. Go ahead, Melissa. Sorry.
You're fine. So CBC in June, on June 17th, said that the mine shafts and septics were searched and that a drone was flown underneath the family home. And I'm looking for, in the search, I remember they said something also that they searched wells and all of that. And I thought that they had said in the ground search and rescue notes that they had searched wells and shafts and septic tanks. So we know that they flew a drone into at least one mine shaft. Which one, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm reading because people have good information in the chat about like mines in general. Like I know what a mine is, and I know the size of the little rail cars that would, go in there. And I also know some mines are like absolutely massive inside, and you have a regular size opening to go into this massive area. But is that what we're talking about here? That kind of thing? And it is interesting that apparently Janie said that all of the mines in the area are sealed, and they're clearly not because these ones are in that immediate area of the property. So it's very, very interesting to me. Do you think? And
Oh,
I'm
I
not saying
do.
anything nefarious. It's possible they fell in one. Sounds like it.
Oh, I think it's very interesting, and I think it's very possible. And that's something I've never been able to rule out one way or another, that they fell into a mine shaft. I'm gonna show my age here, but I don't know, Shar, if you remember baby Jessica, she fell into a shaft.
Well, though,
Like, what, 80s?
that was 19. I want to say 83, but that was a well. She fell into a well.
Oh, okay. Well, either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's entirely possible.
But wouldn't the search teams have searched in them? Like my mind is spinning right now because of all the resources that were out there. And if this is close to the property, you would think that would be a main place to search. Tell me they searched those mine shafts.
I mean, I can send you the link from CBC where they said they did search the mine shafts if you want to watch it.
I might have to go. But if you want to send me the video, we can definitely watch that. I might, because my head is just kind of spinning because I think that they would have, if they searched.
Okay, I
That's
sent it to
crazy.
you on Facebook.
Let's see here. Let's see here.
But I mean, I definitely think that mine shafts need to be, and I mean all of them. I don't care if there's 1,000 of them. I think that they need to be looked at. It was Robin a heroic effort to get her out, and it was a well. I was mistaken, but the point is that a small child can definitely fall into something.
Okay. I've got it. Let's just refresh our memory and watch an old news clip because I am intrigued. Not that not that I wasn't before, but just thought if they searched the area, then they had to have searched these mine shafts. So let's keep looking elsewhere. I want to put this bigger. All right, let's watch.
We'll be able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gairloch location.
Radio chatter. Search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed would take this long.
Make them off the post out there in case they happen to sneak out and get back in your house.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A lot of area cover or out here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know, like, what happened.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack William James Sullivan, is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner, Malehya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lily and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malay and baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malaya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
With blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a part of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martell says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism. For a lot of people, this story just sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course, stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
I was extremely nervous, especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah,
When did you find out the result of your test?
immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume Tremblay is not an investigating officer, but he speaks for the force in Nova Scotia.
You know, it's quite rare that in my career, I've never seen 2 missing children go at the same time.
Was anything found in any of these searches that was deemed to be of significance? Even if you can't tell me what it was, anything of significance?
So I can tell you that the investigation is ongoing and that we haven't found any evidence to show that there was an abduction of the children.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do 2 young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla. And we are asking for the public for tips and information.
He says the force has received close to 500 tips, some that have taken them elsewhere in the country. But the only confirmed sighting of Jack and Lily was the day before they disappeared in Nova Scotia. Martell says the children were seen on camera with the whole family. Still, police are asking for trail camera footage in the area dating back 5 days. They say they're trying to establish a timeline in the lead up to the disappearance.
So when teams are tasked, they get a bearing.
Crews have searched around 8.5 square kilometers.
Coming up through all of this stuff.
Amy Hansen has been the search manager for most of that. She's taking us into the woods to show us what her team has been dealing with.
The vast majority of it was probably from Fiona.
Downed trees from post-tropical storm Fiona 3 years ago.
This is actually fairly mild compared to some of the areas.
Over a total of 10 days, they searched for 12,000 hours.
It's pretty much unheard of in this province. It's the biggest search I've been involved in.
And she's been at this 22 years.
Do you think those kids are in the woods?
From everything I've seen, yes.
Why can't you find them?
They're small. They'd be hiding. They would have crawled underneath something probably when they got tired. They could have gone further than what we searched. There's all kinds of scenarios, unfortunately.
And that's playing heavily on the mind of this woman, Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother.
Their smiles are just beautiful.
She hadn't seen the children in nearly 2 years, a relationship left complicated after her son, their biological father, chose to stay out of their lives. She says he has been questioned by police 3 times.
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
She says she joined the search herself as soon as she heard Lily and Jack were missing. She doesn't believe the children are in the woods.
There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not.
The brush is just too thick.
It is way too thick. Way too thick.
Tonight is about saying a prayer.
She attended a vigil in Pictou County marking 1 month since the children went missing and says she feels the support of the community and beyond.
Well, these are everybody's grandchildren. They're not just mine now.
As she clings to cherished keepsakes,
this is Lily's handprint.
She is pleading for any information that could provide answers.
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. They deserve so much better than what they got.
She keeps her mind occupied spending time in the garden, surrounded by hummingbirds. Symbols of hope, though she admits now that so much time has passed, she doesn't have much hope the children will be found alive, and even worries the mystery of what happened to them may never be solved.
So I guess they did search some mine shafts. I think that that's going to be a good note to end it on. We've been here for 3 hours today, guys. Let's remember always this is what it's all about, Lily and Jack, and everything else is just noise. So next time we'll keep exploring these options, maybe have a little bit more, not that this wasn't interesting, but some more information about locations. I know my chat has just gone crazy with information, so clearly we might be on to something. And also we're going to explore some of the tips that came in and the possibility that somebody picked the kids up at the end of the driveway. Is there anything else you wanted to say today, Melissa?
No, not really. I mean, I know we got a little bit off track of what we were going to do with the whole dog situation, but, you know, at the same time, we were going to be discussing theories. And so even though we kind of got off track of the theories that we were going to discuss, I feel like we, in my opinion, kind of put to rest that. I did star a couple comments I wanted to say real quick. If you notice the way that they went into the woods there in that video, you can't tell me that those trees rubbing up against them that it wouldn't with Lily and Jack, and that scent would have been picked up. But Turkish connoisseur said 1 meter to 14 meter openings when in operation, and I don't deal in meters, I deal in feet, and 1 meter is 3.2 essentially feet, which I think is plenty big enough for a child to fall into or crawl into if, you know, say it's raining. And then the hypothermia theory still got taken to the abandoned mine and put in there to look like hypothermia. I think that's, again, you know, to go with the mine shaft. I don't think it's entirely impossible. But my heart breaks for Belynda. And this is all about Lily and Jack and trying to figure out where they are and trying to find them so they can be brought home. And even if it's not a good outcome, they can still be brought home to their family. And Jack and Lily are what matter.
Absolutely. So thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to, oh, Marianne, you became a new member. Thank you. How did I miss that? But thank you so much. I appreciate you. And tomorrow morning, you guys, at 9 a.m. my time. So what is that? I think it's noon Nova Scotia time. Not sure, but anyways, the Delphi case, Richard Allen's defense team debated a friend of mine, Tom Webster, who has a YouTube channel. He did phenomenal work covering the Delphi case. He's got a very analytical mind, and if you need a spreadsheet done and all the facts, like I keep bringing his name up in this case because we need a Tom Webster style spreadsheet to keep track of all the inconsistencies and all the stories. This is the guy that I keep bringing up for that kind of stuff. Anyways, he's excited that I am going to stream his premiere on my channel as well. And it's a debate with the people who defended Richard Allen, who was found guilty of murdering Abby and Libby. So if you want to tune into that, turn on your notifications. The thumbnail's already out there. And I probably won't do a live after that because what I understand, it was a pretty long debate. So come see me there in the morning. Otherwise, we will see you as soon as I could do a new live. Thanks, Melissa.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And Tom Webster he's funny as all get out, but he's such a sweet guy. I met him. He was one of the ones that I line sat for there in Delphi, and he's a great guy. He's got a good heart.
Yeah, you bet. He's awesome. A plethora of information with that guy. And he also did
he is so
he covered
smart.
the Missy Beaver case extensively. So he does deep dives and he's very thorough. So I'm looking forward to his debate with that defense team for sure. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. If not, we'll see you on the next live. Have a good night.
See you guys later.
We